Hopefully you are all doing well. Another YouTube video here. Today we are going to cover how to confirm fair value gaps, specifically high time frame fair value gaps. What I mean by high time frame fair value gaps is relative to the time frame of entry, right? So a 30-second fair value gap is going to be a high time frame fair value gap for a 5-second entry, right? But a 4-hour fair value gap is going to be a high time frame fair value gap for like a 5-minute or 15-minute entry. Okay, so I just want to get that out of the way first. Now, I'm going to get right into this. This is such an important lesson. I hope you guys learned something from this. So let's get right into it. So let us say we want to know, how do we know if this fair value gap, let me get rid of these two really quick. How do we know if this fair value gap here is going to work? Now, boom, price comes up and it taps this fair value gap right here. Okay, now a lot of people would just be looking for, they're just pattern trading it, right? They're just saying, they're just using some like form of like guesswork. They see price start to react off of it and think it's going to be respected, right? But a lot of the times it's going to go down like this and it's going to be a retracement and it's going to go back up. Okay, so how do we actually understand if this fair value gap is going to hold? First things first, we need to look to the left side of the chart. When price came down like this, and you can flip this if we're bullish. If price came down like this, how did price react to the previous low? Did price shift again and continue breaking the old lows, right? Or did price come down and soup the low, right, and just sweep the low and then immediately revert back up? You want to see how did price react at the previous low. Next, where is the draw on liquidity more than likely? If the draw on liquidity is more likely bearish, well, automatically you have an edge that this premium array is going to be respected, right? Because with a bearish draw on liquidity, premium arrays are what are going to be delivering price. Okay, so this being said, you want to look and see, did the draw on liquidity that you were anticipating get hit? If the answer is no, then you can look for this next protocol here. Okay, let me turn this down really quickly. So let's say our draw on liquidity is indeed still lower. Yo, dog, can you chill? Let's say it's down here at this low. This is our DOL. Let's say it's previous day high. Now, let's make sure Discord's off. Cool. We want to see on this leg back up into the gap, what type of liquidity did price create? Did price create high resistance or low resistance liquidity down to that low or up to that high? Okay. Now, in this scenario, it's price going up into a fair value gap. So on this leg from the point down here to the point right here, what type of liquidity did the market create? It's very simple to understand this. When you're looking at this leg, were there internal sweeps from this low to this high on a lower time frame? Was price engineering sell-side liquidity? No, dog, I'm going to tweak out on this dog. Or was price internally sweeping sell-side liquidity as it went higher? So that's the first thing you want to pay attention to. What type of liquidity would be a part of a continuation? Let's say you don't know for sure if the draw on liquidity is lower. That's the protocol you're going to look for. Did price displacingly close below the old low? Is the draw on liquidity lower? Again, you just need a slight edge, right? So DOL, let's say the DOL is lower. Price did close below an old low. And now let's say from this low to this high, we created equal lows and low resistance liquidity up to there, right? Now, you can see in here, what you're going to look for is on an even lower time frame, where is the low that put in the high, right? What's that final move lower before we put in that high? You want to see price shift below it and then respect the high that was put in here, or SMT with the high that was put in there, okay? And then you can look for a continuation back lower to take out all that low resistance liquidity and then eventually take out the draw on liquidity, okay? So that is kind of your protocol, looking for continuations and knowing if a fair value gap is going to be respected or not. Now, let's look at a few examples. What is an example of a fair value gap not being respected, right? In this scenario, right, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, we're bearish, right? We're continually going lower. And then you see in here, oh, we tapped up in here into a premium, into the fair value gap. We respected it, and now we're going lower, right? You're going to think to yourself, oh, that means we are bearish, right? But if you look over here to the left, price over here, let's open up ES. Okay, because I want to show you at 11:01. Let's actually go to a 1 minute chart here. So I want to show you the 1 minute chart. This is the 11:01 low. So let's open up ES. And notice over here, the 11:01 low was taken on ES. Right? So what was our step one? Did price displacement close below the old low? Well, no. We had an SMT divergence right here. Right? So this is an SMT. So price, no, the old low over here was respected, and it was not displacingly close below, and this is not the draw on liquidity because we SMT'd at that draw on liquidity, right? So we immediately look higher. What do we notice higher? We have low resistance liquidity to the buy side, right? And on this run higher back into the gap, on a 15-second chart, did we create low resistance liquidity? No, right? We delivered from a gap, immediately broke the high, and then we're chopping in here, okay? There's no low resistance, clear, failure swings, equal lows, any of that in here, or at the range low. And then looking in here, did price shift below the final low that put in that high, that mitigated that fair value gap? No. But when you're on a 30-second chart or a 1 minute chart, you're looking at this, you're like, you see this, that we respected the gap, and then we close through this gap here, and you're like, oh, that's bearish. I should take this short, right? No, you should not, because that is not what we are trading. We had an SMT at this low, okay? We have low resistance buy-side liquidity, okay? And we did not shift below the low on even a 15-second chart that put in the high, the internal one, not the external one down here, the internal one, okay? So look for these things when you are actually finding a fair value gap. Look and see how does price react inside the fair value gap, what type of liquidity formed on that run up. It works better when it's a large run up, right? Not when it's like a tiny little range and then we have a tiny little run up. It works better with large ranges because then it gives you more time or even a higher time frame for price to engineer low resistance liquidity, right, with failure swings and equal lows. Then when we get up here, you can see price shift below the low, and then look for that continuation model from an axis inside of here, okay? So with that ABS entry model. So backtest these things, look, see if it helps your trading. Great, it should help your trading because a lot of people don't really know what to look for when they say, oh, price is respecting this gap. This is going to be especially helpful for range conditions, all right? I try to keep this video short. Remember, if you want to join the Discord, we're going to be doing Funded October, where I'm going to be sharing my trade ideas, analysis, draw on liquidity, live trading, doing nightly studies, all of October. So if you want to join that, join the free Discord for now, and then September 31st, I'm going to give out a discount code. So if you want to trade with me, get different trade ideas, draw on liquidity, analysis, and we're going to get you right, psychology course, strategy course, all that, it's going to be included with the discount. And you're going to be able to pass your funded. We're going to get 100 people funded this October. We got 78 people funded last time. We're going to get 100 this time. So if you want to join that, join the free Discord for more details this weekend. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Ciao.